Hey guys, welcome to MiracleMAX. This time we're going to have a look at rechargeable batteries, particularly with drills. I've got a couple here that have been given to me to see if I can repair. They just don't seem to hold charge. So I'm going to pull them apart, see if I can locate the batteries that are faulty, maybe even replace them. I'll give it a go, see what happens. By testing the voltage output on this particular pack, we can see it's 6.4 volts. Yet clearly on the side it says 18 volts. It's no good. This one here reads 15 volts. Maybe that's got some hope left for it. So let's pull it apart and have a look. I'm going to start with the one that's pretty much cactus. I think that gave us about, 6 volts, something along those lines. It's actually quite good. There's 4 screws to pull it apart. Notice in particular with this one here that there seems to be quite a bit of corrosion around the terminal here, and that's the main power terminal that's taken out from the battery. This will be the charge side, and this will be the actual power supply to the drill. And I notice it's quite dirty there, so whether that may be a problem when it was plugged into the drill and gave the impression that it wasn't working. But this has actually got 15 volts at the moment, so it's not dead or anything, but I'll certainly look into it further. But that's something to be aware of just there. I've stripped down the second one, as you can see, and one thing I didn't notice before is there's actually quite a complex little circuit board on the side here for charging purposes, etc. And I assume to change it over when it goes from charge to supply. There would be current limiting things in there, all sorts of stuff. Temperature cutout, as I mentioned before. So I've still got a little more digging, but I thought I'd just compare the two voltage wise to see in fact what I'm getting from both of them. So if we just do apples for apples, I guess you could say, just compare here to here. We've got 3 volts over this one, and over here we have 0.5 of a volt. We continue on to the next one. We've got 0.4 of a volt there, and we've got, at this point, we've got 4 volts there. Our last little section there, we have a bad contact, 3.9, and over here we have 3.25. so that battery back there might be okay to be used, so I'll just check that further on. One thing I have noticed is that this battery on the end has quite a bit of discoloration. You might be able to see that there. In comparison to the other batteries are quite clean, but this fella here, you can see there's spots all over it. So whether that battery is actually starting to leak or whatever, internally collapse, etc., creating high resistance across the board. That'll be done in series, of course, and so one battery fails, it all creates a high resistance right across the pack. So it's an easy way to test these batteries individually. It's a battery pack made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 batteries. These batteries are roughly around about 4 volts each, but we can test them individually just across here to see what the range is. So we'll do that now. So that's got 3.8, that's not too bad. We've got our next one down has got absolutely squat, so that one is a dead cell, or it's a dead battery. The next one across is 4 volts. Next one across is 4 volts. Oops. The next one across is 4 volts. Now the beauty of this is that obviously this one here, even though it's only 3 odd volts or almost 4 volts, it's probably not being charged because of the resistance in this cell. So hopefully I can use the other battery pack, find a decent battery. This is the other one that I have. We use the same method. Here we've got 0.5. Here we've got absolutely nothing. 0.4, 3 volts, and 3 volts there. Obviously, this being in series, it needs all the batteries to fully charge the battery pack. So I'll probably select one of these batteries that is at 3 volts and put it into our other pack, see if we can rescue at least one pack. If you have a close look, hopefully this will focus, you can see that these are actually spot welded in place. It's got 4 little indents there. Obviously I'm not going to be able to spot weld them again, but I'll be able to solder those in place. But you can see the little indents where they spot weld them. This is the pack that's in reasonable condition, but that battery is the failing point of the whole pack. So I intend pulling out this one and popping it into that place. Getting these batteries out was a bit of a headache. They were siliconed in place, so I had to cut away all that silicon as well. And this little fella here had the thermal cutout on it that was taped in place. I had to cut that out as well. But after much effort, I'm able to slide them out quite easily now. Now you notice I've got positive and negative drawn on each of the batteries, and NG, no good, she's gone. This one here is a good one, as we can see. But I've also got, like I said, I've got the positive and the negative. Now why do I need to do that? I mentioned before that these were wired in series. So you can see by the term series, it's pretty important to make sure that we wire it the correct way. So as we can see here, we've got positive and negative. So positive would have to be here, wouldn't it? So I need to turn it around and put it in that way, don't I? That'll just slide in there. That should fit into position. Then that will go negative to positive, negative to positive, negative to positive, and negative, which is our black wire across here. And up this end, which is positive, has our red wire coming off here into our circuitry. So next step, a bit of solder on either side, and hopefully we've got a battery pack that I can charge up and will hold charge. I'm actually just going to apply a little bit of cleaning flux, and that will help to give a good surface clean, and that way we'll get a good solder joint. Now obviously we don't want it too hot because there's plastic nearby. Bit of surface. Okay, we've got a bit of contact there, that should do. Those spot welds really don't have much contact, so hopefully my soldering, even though it might be a little bit dodgy or appear a bit dodgy, hopefully, there we go, it's got enough contact to do the job. Just let that cool for a bit and then we'll try the other side. Same method on this side, a little bit of flux. I think I may have put a bit too much on the other side, but we'll see how we go. Just be careful not to short it across the other batteries because they are live and you'll end up with a short circuit. I guess before I claim a victory here, I really need to do some voltage testing. So keep in mind that these are 4-volt batteries and there's 5 of them, so that should equal around about 20 volts. Just keep in mind that both of these battery packs were charged with a faulty battery in them, so they wouldn't charge fully. So at this point, you know, hoping for at least some sort of good result. So to do that, we'll just check at the negative side and the positive side here, and we've got 19.34 volts. You couldn't ask for too much more than that, could you? So what I'm going to do is just tidy it up, reassemble it, and then I'll put it on charge and see if we can get our 20 volts out of it that we hope to get. So I'll just chuck her on charge, see how she goes. We can see the red lights come on, so that means that it's actually charging. We'll give it some time, see how she goes. So we can now see that the little LED is solid, and that indicates that it is in fact charging at this point. When it starts to flash about 1 per second, then we know it's in its fully charged state. I don't believe it'll be too far off of charged. And lo and behold, there it is. Yep, she's flashing off and on. So I can now state with confidence that that is a fix. Just to prove the point, we're looking at 19.90 volts at this point. They should be roughly around about 20 volts, so that's a good sign. We can plonk him back into the drill and away we go. So guys, this was an excellent opportunity to follow the recycling mantra, wasn't it? It's avoid, reuse, reduce and recycle. So rather than having 2 battery packs going to recycling, we've only got the 1, haven't we? Which is great news. Thanks for watching the video guys, hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you did, feel free please to subscribe on the button down below. Give it a like if you enjoyed it, and feel free to comment as well. Till next time, thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you later. This is MiracleMAX. Bye.